World War II was basically a global speed run for who can break reality the fastest. You had entire countries committing war crimes like it was a group project, experimental tanks that looked like IKEA furniture with depression, and soldiers who somehow turned dying horribly into a competitive sport. But in this sea of chaos, a few individuals stood out. Not because they were the best, but because they were built differently. I'm talking about men who treated the apocalypse like an open-world sandbox. So grab your helmet, kids. Today we're diving into 5 real soldiers who made World War II look like a live-action cartoon. 1. The Bulletproof Madman, Adrian Carton de Wiart, 2.5 minutes. Let's start with Adrian Carton de Wiart, the human equivalent of duct tape and spite. He fought in both world wars, got shot in the face, head, stomach, ankle, leg, hip, and ear, and survived all of it. When a doctor refused to amputate his mangled fingers, Adrian literally bit them off himself. That's not a metaphor, he actually did that. By World War II, he looked like an NPC from Bloodborne, one eye, one hand, mustache of a god, and zero fear left in his body. During combat in Norway, his plane crashed into the ocean. He swam to shore with one hand, got captured by the Italians, and immediately started trying to escape. He escaped 5 times. At one point, he dug a tunnel with a rusty can. The guards eventually gave up and just said, "You know what? You're free to go." When the war finally ended, Winston Churchill personally sent him as a diplomat to China, because who's going to say no to a man who literally ate his own fingers to get back to work? Carton de Wiart once described war as frankly enjoyable. Translation: pain is a social construct. 2. The Sword Guy, Mad Jack, Churchill, 2.5 minutes. Every army has that one guy. Britain just happened to give theirs a sword. Jack Churchill, nicknamed Mad Jack, went to war armed with a longbow, a broadsword, and a set of bagpipes. Everyone else brought rifles. Jack brought vibes. He's the last recorded person in history to kill someone with a longbow in battle. And it wasn't even ironic. At one point, he charged a German position with his sword drawn, yelling like Braveheart's older cousin, and the Germans just surrendered because, honestly, what do you even do when a man in 1944 runs at you with a claymore? Jack's catchphrase was, "Any officer who goes into action without his sword is improperly dressed." That's British for "your drip is weak." He played the bagpipes under gunfire, led raids like it was Dungeons & Dragons Live Edition, and even when captured, he immediately escaped. Twice. When told the war was finally over, Jack reportedly said, "If it wasn't for those Americans, we could have kept fighting another 10 years. This man looked at world peace and said, "That's lame." 3. The Nazi hunting wrestler Laurie Turney, 2.5 minutes. This one sounds fake, but isn't. Meet Laurie Turney, a Finnish soldier who managed to fight for 3 different armies during World War II, and somehow none of them fired him. He fought for Finland, then for Germany, then later joined the US Army under the name Larry Thorne. In Finland, he was so effective at ambushing Soviet troops that the Russians put a 3 million mark bounty on his head, basically the 1940s version of Wanted. This guy is ruining everything. He got captured, escaped, arrested for treason, escaped again, and then fled to the US, where he joined the Green Berets and went right back to fighting in Vietnam. Dude just refused to retire. When asked why he couldn't stop fighting, his answer was basically, "I like it." He died in a helicopter crash in Vietnam, still in uniform. And here's the twist, he was buried at Arlington National Cemetery, and so yes, a man who fought for both sides of World War II ended up as a decorated US hero. Truly the ultimate neutral playthrough. 4. The Blind Machine Gunner, Weird Al Schmid, 2 minutes. No, not that Weird Al. This one didn't play accordion. He played belt-fed .30 caliber. Al Schmid was a U.S. Marine defending Guadalcanal when a grenade went off in his face, blinding him completely. Most people would tap out. Al didn't. He just stayed behind the gun, reloaded by feel, and kept firing at anything that moved. By the time the shooting stopped, the enemy assault was gone, and Al had defended the entire position blind. When reinforcements arrived, they found him still manning the gun, covered in blood and dirt, still asking, "Are they gone yet?" He was awarded the Navy Cross and became a national symbol of grit. When asked why he didn't stop, he said, "Because somebody had to keep shooting." You can't argue with that logic. 5. The teen who tanked a tank, Audie Murphy, 2.5 minutes. Audie Murphy looked like he should have been working at a soda shop, not commanding a platoon. At 19, he was one of the smallest guys in his unit, but apparently physics didn't apply to him. In 1945, he held off a German attack alone, jumping onto a burning tank destroyer and firing its .50 caliber machine gun at advancing troops for an hour. When he ran out of ammo, he called artillery on his own position. He survived. The Germans didn't. When his squad finally came back, they found Audie standing on the smoldering wreckage, still shooting like it was a Tuesday. He became the most decorated U.S. soldier of World War II. Medal of Honor, every other medal you can imagine, and later a movie star. When reporters asked what fueled his bravery, he said, "I just got mad enough." Translation: I ran out of patience and started deleting people. So yeah, World War II was a nightmare for most, but for a few it was basically an open world mod. Adrian Carton de Wiart ate war injuries for breakfast. Mad Jack Churchill refused to acknowledge the existence of firearms. Laurie Turney switched factions like he was speedrunning a moral compass. Weird Al fought blind and won. And Audie Murphy did a one-man raid on an army because he was bored. History likes to talk about generals, battles, and treaties, but sometimes it's the weirdos who keep civilization from collapsing. And if these 5 men prove anything, it's that you can't patch out raw determination. Because sometimes the game really does have player characters.